Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we are talking about Git, one of the most essential tools for developers. We're going to cover what is Git, why should you use it, and how do you get started with it. Alright, so first let's talk about what is Git. Git is a version control system that helps developers track changes in their code. It allows multiple people to collaborate on a project without messing up each other's work. Think of Git as a time machine for your code. Like, it keeps snapshots of your code at different points in time so you can go back if something goes wrong. So some of the key features of Git is tracks changes, saves every modification to your code. It's also collaboration friendly. Multiple developers can work on same projects. So branching system experiment with new features without affecting the main project. Also allows works offline. You don't need an internet connection to use Git. So Git is like a superpower that keeps your projects organized and safe. But why should you use it? Let's find out. So imagine you're working on a project and suddenly you accidentally delete an important file. Or your code stops working and you don't know what changed, or a teammate overwrites your code by mistake. Without Git, you would be in trouble. But with Git you can restore previous versions of your project, keep a detailed history of every change, work with a team without breaking things. Git is usually used by solo developers to track progress, teams to collaborate on projects, or big companies like Google, Microsoft, and Facebook. Also, Git integrates with platforms like GitHub, GitLab, and Bitbucket, making it easy to share and deploy codes. So first, let's install our Git. There's a few different ways of installing Git. Since we have Homebrew, we could also just use brew install Git, if you prefer that one. But this time I would use actually Git's own installer. So you just write git scm. That will take you the Git's own page, and then you just download the installer for it. You click macOS, and as you see, it also tells you that okay, you can actually just use brew install Git, or you can also just get a binary installer. But since now this documentation has changed since I last visited, it actually recommends also you to use brew install Git. So let's just go with that one. So let's write brew install Git. Alright, so as you see, our Git got installed. Now it's time to verify if it works. So just type git ---- version. As you see, now we have our Git installed. Now the next step is to configure your Git. So whenever you commit a change, you will have your personal information basically added to it. So it's easy to see who edited what in the future, especially if you are working in a team. So you just can write git config ---- global user.name, and then you just write your name. In our case, I will stay anonymous, so I will just write fstd. And then you can also just write git config ---- global user.email. This will be your email. Now, just for the sake of a demo, let's create a very small demo that can help demonstrate what Git can do. Please keep in mind that Git have multiple different implementations in different projects. Like for example, in a code editor, usually it has a graphical interface which makes following code changes so much easier. But since I have not installed IDE yet, so now let's keep it in the terminal. So let's see what we can do. So I'm gonna go for desktop, and I'm gonna create a directory called projects. I'm gonna go into the projects, and then let's make a git demo. Okay, so now we are in this folder. Let's initialize this folder for Git. After initialization, we can already start using Git, and then you can see what Git is able to do here. So first, let's create a simple file. We're gonna use echo for this. From demo, and we're gonna write that to hello.txt. Now, if you write git status, it's gonna tell you that okay, we have an untracked change called hello.txt. So now, what we're gonna do here, we're going to add this untracked file to our Git repository, which you write git add, git status. So after you added this file to the Git repository, now you can see that our change got staged, which means that now we are actually able to create a commit out of it. That commit basically will be the snapshot we were talking about previously. So let's say if you write git log, at the moment it does not have any commits yet, so we don't have any sorts of logs either. So let's say I'm gonna commit this small change of mine. I'm gonna write some small message. First commit. As you see now, this has been added to our Git repository. And when you write git status, you see that okay, nothing to commit. The working tree is clean, which means that there is no changes after my first commit. If you write git log, you're going to see that I have one commit where the author was me. It's basically your name and your email, which we configured previously, and then it also tells you the date and also the hash of the commit. Here also you can see that we have a branch named main as default, and that's where our head is pointing to, meaning that we are up to date with our branch. So we have been talking a little bit about branches. So imagine a scenario where multiple people trying to basically provide improvements to a solution. So let's say there's one person working on a feature in a code base which basically would like list something in an environment. Some other person works on a login feature. Some other person works on a database feature. So how that's usually going to happen, that people are going to create branches. So you can see that if you write git branch, you have only one branch called main. So whenever you would make any sorts of a change, you would say write git checkout -b. When you write checkout with -b, that tells you to check to a different branch, but with a -b, it will actually create a branch for us. So when you say like git checkout -b, let's say login, let's say feature login, checkout, yep. And now if you check git branch, now we have like two different branches. If you want to go back to your main branch, you can just always write git checkout main. Okay, so let's make another branch feature database. So with git branch, you made another branch called feature database, and then let's make another branch which is fix bug branch. So now you can imagine that there's 3 different branches at the moment. Sorry, 4 different branches. Main is your main branch where you usually keep all your working codes, and then you have 2 feature branch. One is about database, one is about login, and now you have also a fix branch which is about fixing a bug. So now let's go to fix a bug. So if you go to git checkout fix bug, let's add something here with an echo. I just fixed a bug, and add that to bug.txt. And with git status, you can check that okay, you have a bug.txt. Now again, what you're gonna do, since for example, when you're working in a branch, you're gonna create, of course, new files. You're gonna modify files, and whenever you are actually done with your changes, you're gonna add them and then commit them, and then basically merge them into your main branch. So now let's just do that. So git add bug.txt, then you write git commit just fixed my first bug. Git status, you see that now your git branch is basically clean. And you write ls, you see that now you have also a file called bug.txt and hello.txt. Now let's switch to one of our feature branch. So let's say git checkout feature, and let's go for login. In this login, I'm gonna create again a new file, echo just made login feature login.txt. You see that again now we have a untracked change. I'm gonna add that to our repository. Usually you don't always have to add the exact file name. You can just write a star in there, and that will be add any sort of change in the current branch. Status, and then you see that now our change again got staged. So now we have to commit -m, and let's just write that okay, finished login feature. You write ls to see what's happened, and now you see we have a hello.txt, login.txt. And then now let's go to our other branch, git checkout feature database status. Okay, and then now here in the database, I'm gonna just create and commit a new file that I have just created for our database feature. Finished database feature. Status git add git commit base feature, and now we have the database feature. Okay, now since we created all of our changes in different databases, now I can show you how does this looks like. So for example, we're going to go back to our main branch, where usually you keep all of your codes that are actually working, and then now we know that in all 3 of this branch we have some changes that are actually done and working. What's going to happen now is that we're going to merge all of those changes into our branch. So if you check right now, we have only one file. But if you do git merge and then fix bug. We just got our big bug fix. And then let's say if you merge all the other changes, git merge feature login now we merge that too, and then git merge feature database. Now it's important to mention when, for example, you merge one of your changes, you have a merge commit out of it, and what you see now is basically your default merge message that's going to happen. So we're just gonna type QS. Was it QS? No, it was QA. And then your change again. Let me check. Branch. All right. So now we got all the features merged into our main branch. So now that all of our changes are now merged, now we can take a look at git log. As you can see in git log, now there's different commits with our commit messages as we did in our previous branches. You see that now there's our first commit. There's one commit where we fixed our first bug in the fixed bug branch. Then we have finished login feature in the feature login branch. And then we have finished database feature in the feature database branch. And now, following that, we also have 3 other commits. 2 of them is about merging, and the third one is about minor fix, which we did on the main branch. For example, with this one, we also see every single commits hash, and we could technically, for example, roll back any sort of change that happened during any of the branch